Pokemon Scarlet and Violet recently released, and whether you love them or hate them, you've probably noticed some weird or cool things about these games. Today, we'll be talking about some weird facts about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, some of which you might not already know. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to support the channel, and now on to the weird facts. In Alfornada Town, there's some artwork around the town that resembles the sprites you would see in the Generation 1 Pokemon games. Shroodle is a new Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet, and its dex entry states how it will sink its sharp, poison-soaked teeth into any target that angers it, causing paralysis. Shroodle doesn't have access to any moves that can cause paralysis. There's a lot of weird dex entries in Scarlet and Violet, especially when it comes to Quagsire. Quagsire just doesn't have a dex entry, despite being able to obtain one without relying on transferring it over from a previous game. This next fact is pretty well known already, but it's too funny to not mention, and if I didn't, I'm sure people would comment about it. The Pokemon Tinkaton likes to knock rocks into the sky with its hammer to take out flying Corviknights. This is why Corviknight taxis aren't the main form of flying transportation in Scarlet and Violet, and in Paldea they use Squawkabillies. If you spin your joystick around while standing still, your character will also spin. This can be done in some other Pokemon games too, however in Scarlet and Violet, the faster you spin the joystick, the faster your character goes, and you can go pretty fast. Each of the starters' Fauna Evolution are based off of entertainment in some way. Meowscarada is a magician you would see at a carnival or festival, Quaquaval is a dancer like you would see at Mardi Gras, and Skeledirge is based off of Day of the Dead, and is also a singer. And the dirge part of its name refers to some songs that are played at funerals. Annihilape is a new evolution to Primeape that was introduced with these new games. It's fighting and ghost type, which is a callback to an earlier Pokedex entry for Primeape that states how it can get so angry that it dies from rage. Primeape evolves into Annihilape after using the move Rage Fist 20 times, which makes this theory fit even more. Trainer battles have been a staple in Pokemon games ever since Red and Blue, but did you know that in Scarlet and Violet you can run away from trainer battles? Paradox Pokemon is also categorized as a Pokemon species in the Pokedex, consisting of 16 Paradox Pokemon species, making Paradox the species with the most Pokemon in it. Koraidon and Miraidon are also technically Paradox Pokemon, although they're not referred to by their proper Paradox names, Winged King and Iron Serpent in the Pokedex. Even though Scarlet and Violet have an emphasis on time travel, and Scarlet specifically focuses on the past, there are no new fossil Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. There isn't even a way to find fossils from older games and then go to purify them, even though it seems like having fossils in Paldea would fit with the region's theme. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet sold 10 million copies in their release weekend, making them the best-selling Nintendo games in their release weekend. In Violet version, you can find bookshelves in the lighthouse that Professor Turo uses as his Pokemon lab. There's a book there describing Iron Hands, saying that Iron Hands was originally a human athlete who died, and was given a cyborg body as an attempt to help revive them, but something went wrong and it turned into a Paradox Pokemon instead. That eerily resembles Hariyama. The Herba Mystica items that you research with Arvid on your adventure are said to grow in the Great Crater of Paldea. However, if you go to the Great Crater, you can't find any herbs there. Also, Herba Mystica is abbreviated as HM, and after you collect a new Herba Mystica with Arvid in the story, it unlocks a new movement mechanic for your ride Pokemon, such as being able to surf or fly, similar to the HMs in older Pokemon games. Auto-battling is a nice way to quickly knock out a bunch of wild Pokemon, and if there's a shiny Pokemon nearby, your Pokemon won't auto-battle them to make it easier to find the shiny Pokemon. Also, if you check your trainer card in the game, it now keeps track of how many shiny Pokemon you've caught. You can take classes in the academy, and after you meet Hassel for the first time, you unlock the language classes with Professor Salvatore. You can unlock more of his classes by getting more gym badges, same goes for pretty much every other class in this game, and once you complete all of his classes and help him rescue this Pawmi, you are given a Galarian Meowth as a gift Pokemon. Aside from your starter and some limited time Wi-Fi events, the Galarian Meowth is the only gift Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. Charcadet can evolve into either Armarouge or Surluge depending on which version you are playing. This is the only branched evolution introduced in Generation 9. Tinglu, Qianpao, Wo-Chien, and Chi-Yu are the new legendary Pokemon introduced in Scarlet and Violet. They don't really serve much of a purpose in the main plot and are meant to be caught in the post-game. They are known as the Treasures of Ruin and can be summoned after collecting these stakes that are scattered across the Paldea region. It is said that these 4 Pokemon, which are all Dark type, were sealed away by an ancient Pokemon after a fierce battle, after being awoken by a greedy king and destroying the land. They were then locked away, hence the stakes, and now can just be reawoken at your own will. I'm sure there's more to this story here, and maybe we'll find out about that in the future in new games or DLC. An update to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet came out about a week before its release, which consisted of mostly bug fixes. However, it also lowered the base stat total of the Treasures of Ruin by 10 points each. This was the first time a Pokemon had their stats lowered with an update, as typically when they lower Pokemon stats, it's between different generations. The Treasures of Ruin also share a signature move, Ruination, which is literally just Super Fang, except it's a Dark-type move, and it's also categorized as a special move instead. The Pokemon Nacli is the Rock Salt Pokemon. According to the periodic table, Na is the symbol for sodium and Cl is the symbol for chlorine, which together makes sodium chloride, or salt, when combined, hence the name Nacli. Screamtail is a Paradox Pokemon based off of Jigglypuff, and it's the only Paradox Pokemon to be a Paradox form of a not fully evolved Pokemon that didn't get an evolution later on. What I mean by this is Wigglytuff evolves in the same generation, where Pokemon like Mismagius or Magnezone appeared in later generations than their previously evolved forms that also have Paradox forms. On the topic of Paradox Pokemon, Iron Valiant is a very unique Paradox Pokemon. First, it's the only Paradox Pokemon based off of two different Pokemon being Gardevoir and Gallade, hence why it has the secondary typing of both of these Pokemon in Fighting and Fairy. Due to this typing, it's also the only non-dark Pokemon to be 4 times resistant to Dark-type moves. Iron Valiant, as well as Roaring Moon, are also said to be based off of Mega Pokemon, in this case Mega Gardevoir or Gallade and Mega Salamence. This is more easily seen on Roaring Moon since it resembles Mega Salamence a lot more closely than Iron Valiant resembles its Mega forms. They are also both separated from the other Paradox forms in the Pokédex, and I hope they explain more about that in general since the Pokédex numbering for some of these Pokemon doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. The region that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet take place in is called Paldea, and it's the only core series region to not have any numbered routes. Most places in Paldea are named after food or other kitchen-related items in Spanish or Portuguese. For example, Los Platos is plates in Spanish, and Porto Marinada is port marinade in Portuguese. Cassiopeia is the name of the mysterious person who hacks your phone during the Starfall Street storyline. Cassiopeia is also the name of a constellation, and the names of the 5 Team Star bases you find in Paldea are also part of that constellation. In every language, Arven's name comes from the word peppermint or mint in some way. In English, it comes from Mentha arvenis, which is the scientific name for mint. In Japanese, Arven's name just translates to pepper, and in Italian, his name is Pepe, which is also pepper. Another key character you meet while playing through the story is Penny, also part of the Starfall Street storyline, who is originally from the Galar region. And those are just some weird facts about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Big shout out to all of the viewers who commented some of these weird facts in the community tab to help out with this video. Since these games are all still so new, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more facts we'll learn about them in the future, so if you know any more weird facts about Scarlet and Violet, feel free to post a comment about them. With all that out of the way, thank you so much for watching, have a great rest of your day, and bye bye.